You know, everybody's got a to-do list. Drop off the dry cleaning, pick up some milk. Here's an idea. Let's save hundreds of dollars on car insurance. And the good thing is you don't have to drop off or pick up anything. All you have to do is go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes you could be saving 15% or more on car insurance. Extra money in your pocket. It just may be the most rewarding to-do you do today.
Now Podcast One brings you Spike's Car Radio. A downloadable cars and coffee, hosted by writer, comedian, and automotive enthusiast, Spike Ferriston. Now, here's Spike.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spike's Car Radio. Can you hear the noise, hear the ambiance? Well, we've left a seat open for you, the listener. Today, Spike's Car Radio is in Carson, California, at the Porsche Experience Center for the 70th anniversary Porsche party. And we've got some Porsche royalty with us today. We've got Daniel Armbruster, President and CEO of Porsche Motorsports North America, and Jeff Zwart. But Zuckerman didn't make it down here today. He had the worst of all excuses. He had to prepare for a family birthday and a trip to Sicily. And he's missing out on a massive Porsche bash. There's 200 cars in the parking lot, beautiful little Porsches. Out here, they're giving drives to everybody. If you haven't been out to the Experience Center, you got to check it out. It's amazing. You before you buy one of these cars, you can get in it, see what it does, and there's no way you're not going to be buying a car. And Zuckerman, he won't listen to this, but you guys, when you see Zuckerman, you know what to tell him. He's an idiot for not coming down here today. And by the way, he's going to Sicily, where I'm guessing there's someone there who's going to try to kill him. He said his plan is to wake up every morning and have a 2-hour breakfast and get fat. And, well, I say, before he even left, mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. Anyways, hi, guys.
Hello.
Jeff Zwart has just sat down. Daniel Armbruster. All right, who's going to... First of all, Jeff, I have to ask you this question, because it's very unclear to me. Are you on the Porsche payroll? What is your function here? Are you a fan? Are you a paid ambassador? Do you seriously? Because you're an accomplished racer, you're an accomplished director, and then I see you at all of these events. What's the deal?
I think the deal is that I tell Porsche, never worry how much money you're spending with me, because I'm always spending more money with you.
So you're their director, let's say, of media.
I've had the privilege, really, of taking advertising assignments literally for over 30 years from Porsche, and it started in print, and now it's a lot of TV things and short films. So the advertising side of it obviously has been a big part of what I do with Porsche, and then the other side of it is the racing. And the racing's kind of taken me all over the world with Porsche, doing the Trans-Siberia event with Cayennes and leading the U.S. team for that event, and then also going and running at Pikes Peak. So that's kind of been the event that I've most based around, but rallying, road racing, almost all forms of Porsche racing I've been able to do along the way, but my focus is Pikes Peak.
And is it every weekend you're at a Porsche event? Every single weekend? You're at Luft. You're just everywhere.
Well,
now you're here.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that, even when I'm not at Porsche events, my office is generally in the back of a Cayenne, chasing some other brand car down a road somewhere in the world. So even my office is a Porsche, so definitely
cool.
Around a lot of stuff.
Well, there are a lot of folks listening from around the world. There are a lot of folks who never make it out here to California to see this Porsche thing that goes on out here. Fill us in just on what this is. We're celebrating 70 years. Specifically, what are we celebrating here? Daniel, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah,
and speak close to the mic there so we can all hear you.
70 years ago, Ferry Porsche developed the first, or registered for the first 356 Porsche Sportscar, and this year we will celebrate that, and that's the basis and the beginning of the sports car, Porsche sports car. And as you know, after the 356, the 911 was launched, the next generation, and even today we are producing 911s. We are racing with 911s, and I think that's a success story. And we want to show and share this success story with our customers, ambassadors like Jeff. And I think it's a very good story to tell.
And so 1948 is the first car that they put out. What is that, a Gemund car?
The actual first car was a
the
Roadster,
one.
Which
Okay.
is really chassis number one, as it's
Right.
referred to. After that, they started producing the 356/2, which was essentially the Gemund. And the Gemund came along, and they produced approximately 50 of those out of the sawmill in Austria. And once those 50 were finished, then it went on. They took 11 of those chassis that were not completed on to Zuffenhausen when they set up the factory actually in Stuttgart. And it was one of those chassis that went on to win the class at Le Mans in 1951, which really set the stage for what Daniel does today of managing motorsport for Porsche here in North America.
And is this the base for motorsports? When you come to the Porsche Experience Center, there are many beautiful cars inside on display. There are always different cars here. But then there's this mechanics bay where they're doing work on legit old race cars and new race cars. What is it? What's going on over there day to day? Is that it? Could I bring my 919 if I own one here to get worked on, or is this only Porsche factory stuff?
So the headquarters is definitely in Weissach, in the heart of R&D, and there we are developing also GT cars. So the GT street cars are developed in the motorsports department. I think that's also part of the success story. And on this basement, we are building and designing the race cars. Lots of them are produced in Flach directly, or some of them, the Cup car, for example, in Zuffenhausen. And we here are responsible for the North American market, and we are focused on customer racing.
Wow. Well, you guys got people dead here. Once you come here, you have no choice but to give Porsche your money and buy one of these cars. And we have a lot to talk about. I want to get. This is a big year, obviously. Rennsport reunion is when? October?
September.
September. So right after Monterey Pebble Beach Car Week. Tell us a little bit about that event. What's planned for Rennsport right now? Is there stuff we can talk about?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's certainly the history of Rennsport.
And Rennsport's open to the public, right?
Rennsport's
Anybody can
open
come
to the
down.
public. You don't have to own a Porsche. Obviously, it's one big Porsche family inside there, but
and it's really a celebration of the race cars.
It's motorsport focused for sure. So, and I'm actually just finishing up a book that will be out at Rennsport about the first 5 of them. So it started, in humble beginnings in Lime Rock, Connecticut, not far from where Max Hoffman's showroom was on Manhattan. So that was the first event, and then it moved to have a little more heritage for Porsche to tell that story. So it went to Daytona, had 2 events at Daytona, and then eventually it kind of needed to move to the Porsche-centric side of the U.S., which was the West Coast, and it ended up in Monterey at Laguna Seca, so it's had 2 events there. But at the last event in 2015, I think there were over 60,000 people that attended it, making it one of the largest events that are held at Laguna Seca. And it is ongoing, so it's a great celebration of motorsport, the people involved with it. The number of drivers from Porsche's history that shows up there is just amazing.
Yeah, and it's a chance for you to hear these beautiful old cars going around the track at speed. 908.3s, 917s, 907s. It's really... It really enriches your experience. I mean, we see these cars all the time. We see the die-cast models. But then when you see the guys hooning them around the track and really doing the deal, right, without really worrying and racing them, it changes your perspective on the whole thing.
It's a high-speed concourse,
yeah,
which is
it is.
special.
And is it all just Laguna Seca? Is it all right there? Or
It's centralized out of the racetrack there.
It is.
And they have created, corrals for the modern cars, the vintage cars from the street standpoint.
Right.
And then the paddock is obviously filled to the gills with
I
every point of
I
Porsche
prefer
history.
it so much because I like cars in motion. We all like these car shows, but after about 30, 45 minutes, I'm like, nothing's moving. And I'm just talking to guys in cargo shorts. That's not what I came here for. I came here to see and hear these cars, and I was just in Italy for Villa d'Este for the concours there, and what's lovely about that event is they have a lot of movement in this event. Not only the cars sitting there, but then they drive them down this cobblestone path, and they talk about them, and you get to hear them fired up, you get to smell them. It enriches the experience. So Rennsport, if you haven't seen this, you really have to, if you're only going to go to one thing this year, I would blow off the Pebble Beach Concours this year and go to Rennsport Reunion. If you can do both, it's definitely worth doing. But you have to see this. This is a bucket list Porsche show. It used to be every 4 years, right? Now it's every 2?
Yeah.
It's like the Olympics?
Yeah, it's actually changing up. So I think the last one was 2015, actually.
Right.
So.
And is it always going to be up in Northern California? Is that the plan?
So far, I think yes, yeah.
Because it used to be in different places, right?
Yeah, I would imagine that, once Laguna Seca is kind of played out, there's certainly other tracks that could tell a story, like a Watkins Glen or a Road America. But, having the center of really kind of Porsche's sales in the U.S. West Coast really makes it a very popular place to have it.
And this is their biggest market?
Yeah.
Next to China?
I believe so,
Yeah. Well, we got to step up our game. We want to beat them. What else is planned for our 70th anniversary celebration? It seems like every time I'm on Instagram, there are events all around the United States, and it's kind of hard to keep track of. Are there events like this? What would we call this that we're at right now? Is this a Cars and Coffee? It seems a little more than that.
It's a sports car together moment.
And we have the same one at the Porsche Experience Center in Atlanta. We have also dealers who are involved and who are celebrating 70 years. So there are lots of different activities around.
Let me ask you this, since you're Porsche Motorsports, am I ever going to get an RSR? Is there ever going to be an RSR that jumps from your room into my garage?
Depends on your money.
Because you guys make so many beautiful cars. Maybe you can. I've always had questions. I don't know a lot about the race cars, but I've always wondered in the Cup cars why they had that kind of broomstick shifter instead of the paddle shifters, which seems so much easier to use.
Yeah,
but what was the thinking there?
Today we have the pedal shifts since several years. So with the 991 we changed from stick shift to pedal shift. It's much more convenient, and it's more for you also find them in the prototypes, for example, and that's racing, more race feeling. And also with the GT4s, we already have these pedal shifts in our GT4s.
Right. But what was the thinking behind this big shifter? Just not knowing anything about a race car, when you have this thing that you're pushing and pulling like that. It's a sequential shifter.
Sequential shifter, and
so
I
it's
think
faster shifter, and is the big shifter was just to make it easier in case you were.
It was something that was close to the steering wheel.
Right.
It was sequential, so you knew when you were pulling back, you were going forward, and when you were pushing forward,
you're kind
you were
of tapping
slowing down.
it. Right.
And I think, as Daniel can maybe explain a little better, it was the way to most directly connect you to the transmission.
Okay.
So it was a very direct situation to run that into the transmission in a very natural way, and then paddles are a natural evolution of that.
Yeah, it took me. I drove, I think, a Brumos 4.0 with it, and it took me a little while to get used to it. I liked it. There was the hitting down and then the pulling up, and it was. It was just different. It was a very different thing, and I've always wondered why that decision.
Yeah,
I think there's also a safety issue, because if you have a manual gear shift or manual direct connection, you can shift, for example, with the electrical ones. You have a weight advantage. You have more software behind that. You can design fail-safe functions. So we also can avoid with that blowed up gearboxes, and that's very expensive. And so it becomes a little bit more bulletproof, and it's more convenient for the driver.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell us what's going on in motorsports. What are Porsche's plans this year? Are we already in the middle of it? Where are we competing? What are you worried about? What are you thinking about? What keeps you up at night?
Yeah, we already spoke about the historic cars, and we want to keep them alive, and that means we also have to provide the services for these cars, and we have to provide spare parts, and that's really difficult because we are run down with spare parts, and we have a project in Weissach, for example. We are reproducing old parts for the 917, 962.
Really?
And so
even like the little wood shifter, can I buy one of those? That's the only part I can afford. How do you do that with 3D printing technology to make that?
No, it's die cast. Normally die cast, and we try to keep as close as the former production ways. So in general, it will be a real and original Porsche part. But sometimes we also have to change the materials because of the requirements.
Wow.
But in general, we want to keep as close as possible, and we analyzed all our spare parts for the 970, 962, and found the bottlenecks. And now we have already released new toolings for these parts, and pretty soon we are at the dyno, where we have a durability test to approve everything, and then we will have new parts, new old parts, or new vintage parts with a high Porsche quality. Wow.
So when I buy a 917, I just ship it off to you, and you're going to tune it up for me and take care of it.
You're highly welcome.
Do you get to drive these old cars? Have you driven a 917?
Me personally?
Yeah.
No, I'm not skilled
yet
for that.
No. Well, we have to get you in one of those.
Well, one of the other things that's happening this year, too, is the 919 World Tour, where the 919 has been kind of reconfigured slightly to be an absolute fast beast, and it's traveling the world. I think you maybe saw the viral video of it driving through downtown New York City. And then, but it's also going to racetracks and places around the world to kind of see how fast a record it could actually set.
Did I see it going around the Nürburgring somewhere? I thought I saw a shot of it zipping by, or something that was Porsche bannered that went by like this. Whoop, went by. So wait, they drove it where in New York City?
There was a video out just a couple weeks ago that were just driving through downtown with the 919. So it's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. This is the first day that I brought my computer with me to the podcast, so now I can look at stuff when you're talking about it. I drove a Morgan three-wheeler through Times Square, and that almost gave me a heart attack. It was in the rain. It was in rush hour traffic. I can't imagine driving this car here. Here, I'm going to pull it up right now. We're going to have a look. NYC. I want to watch this. How did they deal with the clearance issue? Here it is on Road and Track if you want to find it. Of course, Travis Sikulski from roadandtrack.com does a fabulous job of getting everything up that needs to go up. Well, this is just photographs, but wow. Oh, no, here we go. So you did have to raise the front end a little bit on the car.
It looked like the ride height was slightly higher than when it ran at Le Mans.
Oh, my God.
You got to get through a few potholes and a few rough spots, so it's good.
This is awesome. The 919 tribute to New York City. You know, this is really a middle finger extended to Jerry Seinfeld, who I have been encouraging to put a license plate on his 917 and drive it to Bill's in Malibu.
He should.
Right?
He
Bruce
should.
Canepa drives his 917.
Yeah. And there was a history of the Martini car in the day running with Georgia plates here in the U.S. So
This is tremendous. Now, did you shoot this video?
No, I didn't. But J.F. Musical did it, and he did a nice job on the film.
Wow, it looks like he's not driving as fast as he could be driving, but you can see the potholes on the road. And there's the Panamera right next to it, the Turbo S Sport Turismo. Now there's a car. I just drove the Porsche. Let me play with the Turbo S e-Hybrid for a week, and boy, did I fall in love with that car. Holy crap. Good. That is a Tesla and a Turbo S all in one.
Yeah, I got to do some laps at the Experience Center in Atlanta in one. And it was super impressive. But, I mean, all the cars today really are, but I love the new shape of the Sport Turismo.
Well, I like that car, too. I think it's great. I was just really blown away by the idea that I was driving to work and home on all-electric power, right, in traffic, not polluting, which I liked. And then I remember this one drive I took with my business partner. He was in his Dodge Hellcat. And he looked over. He didn't know what I was in because he's an American muscle car guy. And I just went, tink, and I put it on the Sport Plus mode. And I dropped him.
Yeah.
I dropped him. He was like, what are you driving? I thought it was an electric car. I said, this is two cars, my friend. This is absolutely two cars. But I loved everything about that car. And we should talk about this new Mission E, which now has a new name, the Taycan. Is that it? How do you pronounce it? Do we know? The Porsche Taycan.
Yeah.
Taycan, because it's getting mixed reviews on the internet right now. The name, as does most names. Last one I remember like this was the LaFerrari, and of course now we all love the Ferrari. To me, when they decided to name the LaFerrari, I thought of a little cocktail drink with a little umbrella that I'll have a LaFerrari.
Yeah.
The Taycan, I guess it's like Macan, means lively young horse.
There you go.
And I kind of like the Mission E. I thought that was a pretty good name for this car, but a little like a burrito name too, like Mission E burritos. Forget about the name. What do we know about this car so far? Like, I've seen some impressive stats about charging, right? This is the fun of doing a live show. You're listening to someone's phone going off right behind us. It was nice. What was that song?
I think it's the Samsung default.
The Samsung default. Well, thank you, sir. That was wonderful. What Porsche did that's really cool, didn't they increase the voltage to 800 volts for the battery? Is that right? Go ahead. Tell me what you know about it.
800 volts. We already used 800 volts, 850 volts with the LMP1 car. And the LMP1 was, let's say, the donator of all these ideas. And in former times, when we started, we had around about 400, 450 volts. And normally you try to increase the voltage because then you can reduce the current. And
so what is a Tesla by comparison? Is that...
I think they also have a high voltage charging right now because you need the high voltage, otherwise you need more time.
But I thought I read something that they increased the voltage so that you could, with one of Porsche's superchargers, charge this car in 10 minutes and get 86% of the battery or some stat like that.
Yeah.
That's a game changer, right? That's a real game changer. I was already impressed with what the 918 was doing, and then the E-Turbo, the Panamera Turbo S E-Hybrid. To see what they can do with an all-electric car is going to be incredible. But what I think we all want is that fast charge, that ability to go to one of these chargers and fill up in pretty much the same time as you would put gas in it. Now, when are these cars coming out? Do you guys have any clue when we're going to start seeing these on the road?
Next year. It will be launched next year.
They are. Yeah. And you can get it in the Sport Turismo package, too? Oh, we don't know yet. Yeah. But I thought I saw one of these blasting around Malibu last week.
You could have. There's some mules running around somewhere, but I don't know that there's any here right now. But
no,
they're definitely getting
somebody
around,
just drove it and reviewed a prototype.
Okay.
Roadshow or somebody.
Yeah.
And it was a very early car, so they said it wasn't exactly going to be driving like the real car was, but that they were, blown away by it. Blown away by everything that's happening. All right, well, forget about that. I don't know. If you guys have any pull at Porsche, I think we ought to go back to the drawing board before this car comes out and come up with another name that we can pronounce. What's the deal with names? It's that it has to clear around the world, right?
Yeah, one of the things, and every manufacturer goes through it, is what does that word they've come up to name their car mean in every market around the world? And a lot of times it'll be a great name all the way.
Stay close to that mic right there.
Yeah, a lot of times it'll go all the way around the world till it gets to this one country and it means something bad and they can't use it.
And that's hard. So you have to clear it in every single market.
Yeah.
And is Porsche in every single market around the world? Is there a market that they don't sell cars? No. It's everywhere. Yeah. So that becomes a difficulty, and I'm guessing that's why we see so many manufacturers using numbers now instead of names. So you'll get used to this, folks.
Interesting information due to the Boxster, for example. The Boxster was named by it was an internal challenge, so employees could name or do proposals, and one of our employees won it with the name Boxster. So
really?
Yeah.
And that name was clearable?
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. Because it is. Was it the Boxer engine that they were?
Yeah, that's the basis.
That was the basis of it, and then they just added the stir to it.
Yeah.
Who is that person that named this car?
I don't know him personally.
That's fantastic. whoever you are, well done, sir or madam. Imagine naming a car like that. Wouldn't that be the best?
That'd be pretty good.
And that's one of my favorite cars that Porsche makes.
Yeah.
I remember getting mine and driving it the very first time. It was the first new car that I saved money for.
Oh, really?
It took me 2 or 3 years. But when I saw the concept car, I said, "This is the first new one I'm going to buy," and I bought it, and I still love them. I still think it's one of the best driving cars that Porsche has. All right, well, we're going to come back. We're going to have more with Daniel and Mr. Zwart. We're going to talk about this new Speedster concept that's all over the internet, and my 8-year-old, sorry, James, is here to give you a little Zuckerman right now. Give everybody a little Zuckerman.
Give me the money.
Give me the money. We'll be right back with more Spike's Car Radio. You know what? Finding a dress shirt that fits is nearly impossible. Something's always off, be it the collar, the sleeves, you pull your arms and it gets frumpy on one side. It's too tight in the chest, so when you sit down, the arms are loose. It's madness. I get mad, at least. Thankfully, ordering a custom shirt has never been easier with Proper Cloth. At propercloth.com, you can easily create a custom shirt size in seconds by answering 10 simple questions. And as I told you before, I only knew the answers to 7 of the questions, and still, my shirt came in perfect. At Proper Cloth, you can choose from over 20 collar styles, 10 cuff styles, 50 fabric styles, from classic to business to casual, to completely customize your shirt and get the style that you want. The team at Proper Cloth works with the best fabric producers from around the world and only buy fabrics that meet their high quality expectations. No more cheap bargain store shirts you can wear only once or twice. Each one of their shirts goes through this extensive quality control testing, so you're getting the absolute best quality and craftsmanship. Best of all, Proper Cloth guarantees perfect fit, meaning if that somehow your shirt doesn't fit perfectly, they will remake it for free. The whole process is risk-free. I'll tell you what else, constant updates on your shirts, from ordering to where it is getting made, in transit, and on its way to your house and then delivered, which I appreciate. I like shirt updates. This is the future of shirts, people. These shirts are made completely custom for you, starting at just $80. Your buddy Spike wears them, so take my word for it. And I've got a weird lopsided body. The customized shirt is the way to go. So stop wearing shirts that don't fit. Start looking your best with a custom-fitted shirt. Go to propercloth.com/Spike today. Enter gift code SPIKE, S-P-I-K-E, to save $20 on your first shirt. That's propercloth.com/Spike and enter gift code SPIKE to save $20 on your first shirt. I'm wearing one right now. Everybody likes free things, right? So help my podcast stay free to download with minimal ads by taking a very quick survey over on Podcast One. Responses will help align the appropriate advertisers to my audience. Maybe there's things I share with all of you that you're not into. Maybe there's things, well, why would I share things that they're not into? Don't talk about that. I'm going to share what I want, but maybe there's things you think I should be talking about. The survey is short and completely anonymous and takes no more than 5 minutes. There are 2 easy ways to begin the survey. Go to www.podcastone.com/my survey, or go to podcastone.com and click on the survey banner. If you filled a survey out in the past for other shows, we totally appreciate it, but we still need you to do it again. You're doing me a huge favor, me, Spike, a favor, and Podcast One a huge favor by filling it out. So what are you waiting for? Get the survey, fill it out now, and vote Zuckerman off the island.
You're listening to Spike's Car Radio.
All right, we're back with Spike's Car Radio. We're here with Daniel Armbruster, President, CEO of Porsche Motorsport North America, and Mr. Jeff Zwart. Could be our first return guest, Jeff Zwart, and we're at the Porsche Experience Center for their big Cars and Coffee event to celebrate the 70th anniversary of Porsche. It's called, it's a very German name, and I can never remember it. It's the Sportscar Gathering Experience. Is that what they call this event? But what it really means is everybody has driven their beautiful air-cooled Porsches here. The parking lot is just filled with gorgeous cars. There are a bunch of new Porsches out on the racetrack, and they're giving driving experiences to everybody. There's good music, good folks, lots of beer, some delicious sandwiches. I don't see any strudel, but I'm sure it's here. As I've mentioned earlier, Zuckerman is missing all of it, so please feel free to reach out to him on Instagram and give him hell for that. But my son James is here, and he'll be doing his best Zuckerman impressions. James, get something ready for the end of the show, all right? And we'll... that's right. Anyway, guys, before we get to Porsche Motorsport, because I'm still not clear on what you do, and I know you can explain that. We have to talk about this Speedster concept that's all over the internet. It's so funny that Porsche, somehow these rumors get out like 6 months ago. And, excuse me, I was talking about it on the show. And people are like, you're wrong, it's not going to happen. Because we were talking about it so far in advance. But here it is. Yesterday there was a concept car put out. It's a Speedster concept. It's a modified C4 body with a GT3 engine in it, the 500 horsepower 4.0 that I have in my GT3 Touring. It's modeled after that old 58 Speedster. They took pictures with it. What car is that? That's the Jennings car?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got the meatball on it, so that's on the door where you can put your racing number. It's got these, a lot of beautiful little design cues, like the bullet mirrors.
Yeah, the Talbot mirror style.
Yeah. Now
super cool.
Have you looked at those? Are those are brand new, right?
Yeah,
those
and it's super cool because it's kind of like it transitions through.
Telescopes out. Yeah, I
super cool looking, but it totally
harkens
back to the Talbot mirrors. I have those mirrors on my 906, and that's exactly what those are. And
what was the gas cap? Where did we get that gas cap from?
That's probably an early motorsport history there too. It's very cool.
And I'm not sure what car I've seen it on before, but I haven't seen it on a car like this. This car is getting here it is. You can find this car, again, Road and Track has it, but everybody has it on Instagram. Just search for the new Porsche Speedster concept. It's a little reminiscent of the Boxster concept when that first happened, and Grant Larson made that car. This car is amazing. And everybody wants to know, first of all, which I'm sure you guys don't know yet, how many are they going to make? Are they going to be enough? Because I think some of the people are hating on it because they're like, I'm never going to be able to get this,
right.
So I'm just going to... But when I looked at this thing, I think when all of us looked at this thing, we kind of lost our mind. I mean, first of all, here's the first question. How much of this concept do we think will make it into the actual production car, if there is a production car, which I'm sure you can't confirm? But what is your opinion about that on a concept car, specifically this one? And Jeff, here's this gas cap.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. No, that's definitely like the early, even the 906 had that gas cap.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that you always know when it's locked because it's centered so that the air moves over it, the least resistance.
So that was on the 906?
That was on the 906. It was on the, early, or any center fill cars, the RSRs and those.
What a beautiful design detail. And, I think I remember talking to the Porsche designers going, how do you design emotion?
Yeah.
And one of the things they said is we take cues from these older cars and we put them in the modern cars so when we get into them. And that's... The bullet mirrors and this little gas cap are making me crazy.
No, I think that I was first looked at those mirrors. I go, wow, this is so cool. And I think that's what's so great about Porsche is they have such a history to draw upon that really makes a difference. So even when they're producing a modern car, they can use design elements like that have a story to it, can tell that story. And then to your, point about it, show cars and evolving. Really, the Boxster was a perfect example of a show car that evolved really nicely into the production car and continues to evolve really nice as it has today. So,
but it did change a bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly like this.
Yeah.
And this is probably going to be some sort of limited edition car, right, with a significant number? 70, 356, 911?
Who knows?
Personally, I would like 2,911.
Never that much.
But what do you know about this concept car? Were you aware of it before it came out? Did they fill you in on that? These other departments?
No. I'm too far away of the headquarters.
So you're based out here.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think when you saw the car? What did you think?
I think we made a similar one in 997.
Yes.
I can remember.
Yeah.
And,
The 997 Speedster. That's right. Except, that car was a little underpowered. That didn't have the power that this car has.
Yeah,
I think
and
the
now
first
we have
one
the
was
GT3 engine in it, and I think that's the best combination.
Right.
Yeah.
It appears that it also has a manual transmission in it as well.
Yep, that'd be
You know.
awesome. Be awesome.
Yeah, there it
and
is.
I think the Speedsters kind of started with 964, didn't they?
Yep, that's right.
So it was has evolved that every kind of, model has had a Speedster represented. So
There are
it's kinda
3
natural.
993 Speedsters,
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah.
I thought I read that stat last night. Jerry had one.
Yeah.
I think he sold it. I think he sold it in a moment of weakness.
But I gotta say,
realizing-
when this one hit the airwaves yesterday, it was it's so sleek and cool looking. So
Well, when you badge a car with an iconic name, GTO, Speedster, everybody goes bonkers because you're going to buy something, you're probably going to make money on the car. You've got something of value that's going to then travel with you through history, and the only move is to make this car in limited numbers and make it special, and just give the guys who are going to be able to buy it a choice of what number to put on the side of it. Now, I've heard that I'm getting one. I heard last night
there you go.
that I have one. I
Probably
don't
was a
know that
reading.
I don't know that I'm getting it for a reasonable price. Though. I think I'm going to
Yeah,
be.
you can get anything you want.
I was talking to Dean Maroney, who is our Porsche pusher, and he said that he's got us on the list for one.
Good.
But I've seen that fall apart many times, and I'll believe it when our GT2 RS gets delivered. We're supposed to be getting one of those later this year.
Good.
And right now I'm enjoying a GT3 Touring that we just took delivery on at Chalk with black wheels. It's a little reminiscent of this that James and I just drove down here. And that car is spectacular.
That's
really
awesome.
special, really fun, very, very fast, and so interesting to get reacquainted with a manual gearbox again. That with a shifting feel that feels like the 911R.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like one,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel like one on the tires. Tires feel a little fatter, but it's a special car, and I'm really loving it.
That's good.
Really loving it. All right, Porsche Motorsport. Give us the pitch. Where are you? What do you do? What can we buy from you? What can we bring to you and get fixed? Give us the whole story.
First of all, we have a motorsports pyramid, let's say it this way, and we have different levels, and for every level we also have different products. So you can start with a GT4 track day car, for example. That's the entrance level, and then you can step up with a GT4 competition. It's more competitive or more performant. The well-known Cup car, the 911 Cup car, so that's in the past our core business, and the first race car we established in the market for customer racing.
Just let me stop you there, because I've always wondered this. I decide I want to get out in the track every weekend, and I want to buy a race car. Do I just go to my Porsche dealer? Who do I contact about buying this car? Because I don't think I've ever been online and see a build-your-own race car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do I do that?
We already started the car configurator. So if you are aware about our car configurator for the street cars, we are intending to have these car configurators as well for the race cars.
Oh boy, that's big news. That's fantastic. So
yeah.
I could tonight light up a Cuban cigar and build a race car that you could then make.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you can order these cars directly here at Porsche Motorsports North America. And
where is that? That's right here at the Experience Center, or is
that's exactly here our headquarters in North America, the Experience Center. So we share this building with the Experience Center. On the right-hand side, we have the Motorsports department, and on the left-hand side, we have the Experience Center.
Wow, that's exciting. So what are the cars I can buy? The GT4 competition, the Cup car. Is there an RSR in there?
No, a GT3R.
GT3R.
It's the highest level.
Right.
For the RSR isn't for customer racing here in America. So we have some RSR cars for customers. They are running in the WEC. But here in America, we don't support these cars.
Right.
The reason for that is normally you drive as a customer against factory-supported cars or factory cars, and they are very strong, and it's pretty hard to compete against these factories. And I think my first goal is having happy customers. Happy customers you will have if they are competitive and they have the chance to win. But with these series we have here in America, it's from my perspective not really possible.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Because we have all these clubs now, like Monticello and Thermal Club, and they've got hangars and they've got a racetrack. Now you can go and just get your car and spec it out the way you want it. And the configurator is live right now?
No, not yet, but we are working on that.
And
so
I'll be able to find that through Porsche.com.
Yep.
Boy,
That
yeah.
would be pretty cool. I'm curious, will they have paint to sample for your cup car? Because I'd order a cup car and paint to sample.
Then color is white.
Okay,
That
good.
really is honestly most of the fun, is just, letting everybody get out there and build something. And, even if you can't afford this thing, start dreaming about it. Start working
pretty
towards
good.
it, because that's where it begins,
Very good.
that desire. Boy, that's neat.
And, to really put motorsport in perspective for Porsche is that I think that Porsche will say that they have had 30,000 victories in their history.
Yeah.
And I think half of those victories have been with 911s.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I got to feel like when I won the autocross in college in my 914.6, they didn't even count that as a victory. So there's probably way more than 30,000 victories.
How now in the 911 in the race cars, are we moving the engine a little forward? Are we trying to get it more mid-engined? Where are we with positioning in those cars?
The position is exactly the same as for the street cars. So the street car is a basis, it's a homologation basis, and we haven't changed anything with that. With the RSR, it's a little bit different. There we changed or rotated the drivetrain. So there it's a mid-engine car.
Wow.
And that's also probably the reason for the success of the car. And lots of customers are giving me a call and want to have one of these 911 mid-engine cars. It's very unique.
Well, that's where you have the nice balance, right? You've got an equal weight distribution. Is there any racing series that you'd like to get involved in that Porsche isn't currently involved in?
Yeah, here in North America, we are involved in nearly every race series, and we start at the club sport level with PCA, for example. Porsche Club of America is one of the largest Porsche clubs worldwide, with more than 100,000 members, and we have more than 3,000 activities in a year. So there's lots of racing on this club, and this is the entrance level for racing. And then we have established a development ladder so that you can step up from series to series. And one of these is a trophy, so that's the starting point of racing with the technical regulation. And that's pretty close to normal racing. And the next level is a challenge. We are working on a Carrera Cup North America. That's still missing here in America. So the goal is to establish and start it in 2020. And
that would be like the Ferrari Challenge Series?
No, it's above that. So a challenge is just one level, and after the challenge, so you start with a trophy, then you move up to a challenge, and the top level is a Carrera Cup for our Porsche racing. Yeah, and after the Carrera Cup, that's very performance orientated. So youngster or talented racers, they shall compete there, and that's the preparation for the open competition. And that's the next level. So you can go into open competition. That means you are racing against other brands with Pirelli World Challenge, for example, or with IMSA. And there are lots of different opportunities to compete with other brands.
What do you get, Zwart?
I just have to remind Daniel, there also is a special thing happening this year at Pikes Peak.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I was going to get there, because I knew you can't talk racing without talking about Pikes Peak. Give it to us. Tell us what's up.
No.
Pikes Peak is for us the events I already told, these are standard events, so it's every year. It happens every year, and the next very important topic for us are special events. And Pikes Peak, of course, is one of these special events. And Pikes Peak is, for me, a little bit rally. In the past, more than today. And for me, it's important to link the GT4 with Pikes Peak, because I think the GT4 is a perfect car for Pikes Peak for this kind of racing, because it's very safe, it's very easy to handle. The track is pretty safe and
pretty safe. Just cliffs and 10-story drops. Now, are you going to race a GT4 up there?
Actually, I was brought in to coach the class, so I have 8 teams that I'm looking after this year.
No way.
And a variety of levels of driving in there. And
did I see some of this online somewhere, or is that you and
posted,
CJ Wilson?
Yeah, I posted stuff last week, and I was with Travis Pastrana and CJ
Travis
Wilson.
Pastrana.
Yeah,
and CJ too.
So we've got those guys. J.R. Hildebrand just came on board.
Oh my gosh!
So we've got a really kind of an all-star lineup in that group, and it should be good. And Pikes Peak is a wild card. You get somebody who's just comfortable there. That means a lot. How fast you can go, and it'll really kind of separate people. But the main thing for us is that this is another place to kind of demonstrate how capable the GT4 is, the club sport, and how versatile it is at the same time. So to be able to go run the second oldest race in America, a race that's known around the world, and go up there and drive it in a club sport, be safe about it, learn it, and be on the same road with Romain Dumas this year, and people like Reese Millen and all these guys that have so many records there, be on that same road with them. It's a pretty cool experience, and I think, as Daniel says, this is kind of an experience motorsport situation where it's put together as a whole package where you're there for the week and you get to experience not just the mountain but the whole area.
When you're given instruction, don't you just want to get in the car and just blow the doors off of everybody?
Yeah. I had a funny moment early in the morning where I was, it's 4:30 in the morning and the driver's meeting is getting ready to go. And I saw somebody walk by and I was standing between the trailers and I thought, I got to get my driver's suit on. So for the first time it caught me because I've been there 16 years.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I'm not competing.
Oh my gosh. Well, CJ Wilson and Travis Pastrana, that's already a lot of insanity on that hill.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Really
and Travis seems to have, I see him like, excuse me, you have to cut that one out. I see Travis flying through the air on a motorcycle, and then I'll check in with him a week later, and he's in a hospital bed. And then I'll see him in a car doing jumps, and then he's in a neck brace the next week. Now he's doing hill climbs with you guys.
No, it's great. And I raced with Travis in the Rally Championship in 2005, I think was the last time, and to be up there on the mountain. He really hasn't changed
How old is
at all.
he right now? How old is Travis?
He's still only 20.
He's still only 20, so he still has no fear.
Yeah, for sure.
Boy, and CJ also. He's just that, major league ball player, pitcher, just stone-faced.
Yeah.
But he gets on a racetrack, and he's a competitor, right?
And he's totally methodical about it.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how
very intelligent driver.
Pitching relates to his mindset in pitching and to driving. So it was really...
Well, I asked him that when I first met him. I said, look, no offense, you're not the biggest guy I've seen to be on a Major League Baseball. How do you do it? And he said, I'm a very cerebral pitcher.
Yeah.
And he goes, I have a photographic memory. So when Big Papi gets up, I know how he swings. His swing goes up like this or down like that. And I remember, and I throw the opposite cosine or sine. And I went, boy, there's a really smart human there. Doesn't look like it. CJ, if you're listening, comb your hair, please. Comb your hair for all of us before you take those Instagram pics. And much love to your family. And good luck up on the hill with Zwart teaching you how can you go wrong. But it's a lot to live up to, my friend. I hope you look at Sensei's drive times and you beat them. Otherwise, you're gonna catch a lot of hell from me. Anyway, fellas, we've had a great time here today. Saturday morning here. We've shared the Porsche Experience with everyone in the United States who can't get out here. A lot of people around the world who are listening now. Hello to you from Spike's Car Radio. We always keep this chair open for you. And if you do have a chance, we have 2 Porsche Experience centers, one here in Carson, California. Which, James, how long did it take us to get down here from L.A.?
Took about 35 minutes.
About 35 minutes south of L.A., and the other one is in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
So right at the airport. So
right at the airport, right. Yeah. You land if you like Porsches, if you can't afford a Porsche right now, you pay a few $100s. They're going to put you in a car with an instructor and then show you the line of their drive track here. It's really fun. There's also a lot of safety courses you can take. I was here recently and learned how to manage an all-wheel drive car and a skid, which, I'm Mr. Big Shot. I thought I knew what I was doing. And they were like, no, you're turning exactly the wrong way. You don't turn away from the spin, you turn into it or something like that. It was really fun, and I learned a lot. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. It's the 70th anniversary of Porsche. So put up those Porsche trees.
Sportscar together.
Go to your
together.
Sportscar Together experience wherever you see them. They are across America at the dealerships. Keep an eye out, and you'll hear about it. If you want to catch up with me, I'm going to be in Monterey for the Pebble Beach Concours. I'm hosting a forum on Friday and Saturday. I don't think tickets are for sale yet, but I'm doing Jerry Seinfeld on Friday night. We're going to do it's Friday morning. We're going to do not only talk about Porsches, but talk about the new Netflix season of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Saturday morning, I'm doing Michael Strahan, who I met at the Pebble Beach Concours and is a car guy, a Porsche fan as well, and we're going to talk about his car collecting. All the tickets sold, all the money that's sold goes to charity up there in Monterey. So keep an eye on the Pebble Beach Concours tickets and website, and buy those tickets up fast because they do sell out. Gentlemen, very nice to meet you, Dan. Very nice to see you again, Jeff.
Thank you.
And have you back here. Do you have anything you'd like to plug before we go? Websites?
No, I mean, Rennsport is obviously kind of the focal point this year for Porsche.
Yeah.
It is all things motorsport, which is what Daniel's about here in North America. So tying all that together should be great. And I always love being on the show. It's always a little different. And I like this substitute.
And we've got the
It's working
substitute Zuckerman. If you're looking for a race car, the Porsche race car configurator is going to be live soon, guys. Can you imagine how many hours we're going to be wasting on that? Building race cars, which we can't do. It's all awesome. Rennsport, just so you know, is in Monterey. So you book your motel room, you get your ticket, you go watch these cars go around the track. You're going to love it. And before we go, James, do you want to give us a little more of your Zuckerman? Because everybody misses Zuckerman when he's not here.
Go to the birthday party instead of come here.
That's pretty good. Give us one more, the money.
Give me the money.
That's Zuckerman's catchphrase. We'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio. Real quick before we go, if you're looking to buy a car, you're probably familiar with terms like MSRP. You might even know what it stands for, but what does it actually mean? The same goes for invoice, list price, and dealer price. It's enough to confuse anybody. It confuses me. All you're really looking for is a price that actually means something. Introducing True Price from True Car. Now you can know exactly what you'll pay for the car you want, including fees and accessories, before you even get to the dealership. True Car dealers will show you the true price on cars like the one you want, all from the comfort of your home. And how do you know if True Price is a great price? Because True Car shows you what other people paid for the same car you want. And your certified dealers know this, so they set their true price competitively so they can win your business. So when you're ready to buy new or used, that's right, new or used, visit True Car to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio. Download new episodes every Wednesday on the Podcast One app or subscribe now at Apple Podcasts or PodcastOne.com.